At 8:30 p.m. on a Monday, millions of residents of the most man-made landscape in the United States were reminded how powerless they were against the forces of nature. Hurricane Sandy shoved the East River across the FDR Drive onto the streets of Manhattan, reducing the ostensible hub of the universe to a blacked-out, waterlogged, immobile shambles. The extraordinary storm surge swamped Consolidated Edison's power plant at 14th Street along its way to filling multiple zip codes with waist-deep brine, plunging Manhattan from Midtown South to the financial district into darkness for days. Transit systems were crippled, hospitals could not function, and public housing complexes had no working boilers or elevators. 5 years after Hurricane Sandy struck on October 29, 2012, much of the region's inundated infrastructure has been repaired and some of it has been improved. But most of the big plans to storm-proof New York City remain just that, plans. And throughout the planning, the city has continued to advance toward the water, with glass high-rises stretching across the riverfront in Queens, Brooklyn, and the far west side of Manhattan. Each year we don't get a hurricane here, we know we've dodged a bullet, said Robert Freudenberg, the Vice President for Energy and Environment at the Regional Plan Association, an urban research group. We're racing the clock still to try and prepare for another storm like Sandy. The east end of 14th Street in Manhattan provides a telling portal into the breadth of the damage Sandy wrought and what has and has not yet been done to brace for the next big storm. Con Edison's power plant has stood there, within 50 yards of the water's edge, for more than 90 years. It supplies electricity and steam to more than 250,000 customers, including banks on Wall Street and subsidized apartment towers on the Lower East Side. Beneath it, the L subway line carries overcrowded trains to and from Brooklyn. Flooding had not been much of a problem there until Sandy's storm surge exceeded predictions and washed away sandbags and rushed over floodgates. Within minutes, the water was seeping into the plant's nerve center. A bright flash that could be seen from Brooklyn signaled the failure of a substation on the site and heralded the long blackout that began minutes later. More than 7 million gallons of salt water poured into the Canarsie Tunnel, which carries L trains under the East River. 12 blocks north, the sprawling Bellevue Hospital Center complex, New York's flagship public hospital, had to be evacuated for the first time because it had no power, elevator service, or drinking water. The Metropolitan Transportation Authority plans to close the Canarsie Tunnel for an overhaul of its interior in 2019 that will take more than a year and suspend service between Manhattan and Brooklyn. The agency's $7.6 billion program in response to Sandy has included installing submarine doors, Kevlar curtains, and mechanical gates to plug more than 3,000 openings into the subway below 14th Street. Joseph J.